like mindfulness, but you've been at this for so long. I would love to just get your take on what it is, and what's the benefit of being mindful and what that looks like practically.
Okay. So basically, mindfulness is something that's very near and dear to my heart. I put it in the title of my book, and it's something that I really believe is essential for not only high level executives, not only high performers, but the entire world. I think that if everybody could just be a little bit more mindful, this world would be such a better place. Now, mindfulness is essentially just keeping yourself in the present moment. And I think people don't realize how much they are not in the present moment. They're either thinking about the future, worry and stress related to future happenings, and then, or they're thinking about the past, that comes along with anxiety, regret, and feeling guilty. And all of those things, are just essentially, I like to say they're useless emotions. Right. Because no amount of worry, regret, or stress that you have about the past is going to take you back in a time machine and let you relive that moment.
Right.
And no amount of stress or freaking out or whatever you want to call it about the future is going to give you a crystal ball and tell you exactly what's going to happen. So
Right.
It's pointless to be in either place. When you are mindful and when you focus on the here and now and you keep your mind where your body is, a lot of amazing things happen. You become less stressed, you become less anxious, you are happier, you're healthier. All of these great things happen, and essentially all it is just keeping focused on the present moment. And that is in a nutshell what mindfulness is. And that is, I think, something that is lacking in the society today, is people just being connected to others and connected with themselves and connected to the moment.
Wow, that's so powerful. Now, what can we do to practically apply this to our lives? Because it's one thing to understand what mindfulness is, but it's a completely other thing to actually practice it every day.
Well, and I was one, years ago, I was completely in the past and the future. I rarely was in the present moment. And it isn't easy, but if you set alarms and if you essentially remind yourself, pull yourself back to the present moment, whether that's, look right here, this is a pencil that's on my desk.
Right.
That's the present moment.
Right.
If you're finding yourself worrying or feeling anxious, if you just take a mind check and say, what am I thinking about? Is that happening right this second? No, it's not.
Right.
I'm pull myself back. Focus on your breathing, and meditation is something that I've recently really gotten into and realized how helpful it is for mindfulness. And essentially that means happiness, healthiness, less anxiety, less stress, feeling positive. And all of these things are so important for behavior change.
Right.
It's not even funny. I mean, mindset is essentially, if I could say one thing that people could work on, two things, I would say. It's mindset and mindfulness.
Right.
Mindset is essentially, changing your negative thoughts into positive thoughts and telling those negative bullies and negative people in your head that pipe up all the time to sit down and be quiet.
Right.
Basically just have rebuttals for them. Like, I'm not going to listen to you today. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do something different.
Right.
Just change your mindset.
I have somebody told me an analogy once. It was about most people, they carry the past with them everywhere they go. And he says it's like if you experience some, crap on the road of life, most people will pick it up and they'll analyze it and then they'll throw it in their wheelbarrow or their backpack and they'll carry it with them. And then every so often they'll go back and they'll pick it up out of the wheelbarrow and they'll look at it and they wonder why their life stinks, right? So it's like,
oh my gosh, that's really funny.
Yeah, and it's like it's the truth. It's like so many people carry SH blank T with them everywhere they go, and it's like it's so sad. And it's the reality is I still struggle with this every once in a while. Mindfulness has helped me so much, and like you said, it's just that moment. I remember I was driving back from my wife's parents' house, and I was thinking about all the things I needed to do, and I started feeling my heart race. Physiologically, your brain is having that big of an impact on your adrenals, on all of the systems of your body, and I stopped and I'm listening to the executive book summary of the book Focus, and as opposed to going on to the next book to read or to listen to, I stopped the CD and I just applied that mindfulness strategy you talked about. And I just started taking deep breaths, and I looked in the rearview mirror, and I looked at my, newborn baby sitting there in the baby seat, and I saw his face, and it was just so overwhelming. I was like, oh my gosh, there's heaven all around me, and I'm deleting it because I'm thinking about things in the past or the future. And I literally started crying there in the driver's seat because of how powerful that was. I'm like, this could be my life every day. It's like.
And that's such a great example because, as you were talking, I was thinking about my prior self before I discovered all of these great tools and techniques and put them into use. And it honestly feels like a veil has been lifted off of you when you start to practice these things.
Yeah.
And, I just hope that people, when, they're listening out there, they just take one of these things and start to implement them.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long for you to see results. And just like you said, I mean, from 1 minute to the next, you realized, wow. And our brain is so powerful. Mm-hmm. But we can use it to our benefit, not to our detriment. And that's the thing, is that when we run on autopilot, we're allowing our powerful brain to take over and take us wherever it wants. Wow. And generally, it goes in a negative direction. And for whatever reason, it just is. And if we can pull it back and pull ourselves back to the present moment and remind ourselves, that is a memory. That is I'm fortune telling. I have no idea what's going to happen. There might be traffic, there might not be. The meeting I'm worried about right now might get canceled. It doesn't, like, things like that. If you can just bring yourself back to the present moment. And one thing I will mention as well is that when you do that over and over, our brain is like Play-Doh. So it's essentially you're able to remold the circuitry in your brain by doing something over and over and over again. So when I was beginning this mindfulness journey, I mean, I really had a lot of negative thoughts about myself. I thought, you're so fat, oh my gosh, you can't go to the pool, you can't go with your friends to the beach, you can't, all these negative things. And I held myself back a lot. So I had to literally minute to minute to minute remind myself to pull myself out of that. Pull myself out of the past, pull myself out of the future, and focus on the here and now. Every single second.
Wow.
And little by little, it became to where, and not that I have moments like you do too, where it's like, I'm freaking out. But I'm able to say, I don't have to freak out. Like, everything's going to be okay. The world isn't going to end. Nobody's going to die. This will be fine.